with the permission of Senator Bato, I was told by the legal, yes, the legislative team, is that we must do an ulterior amendment on page 10, insert a new section 10 to read as follows. So that's what I read earlier, the section 26 of RA number 10591. But we also delete the entire paragraph starting with the word upon until the word firearms, and then you therefore thereof insert what was just read by Senator Bato, earlier to Senator Bato de la Rosa. Subject to style.
Subject to style, I accept, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any objection? There being none, the amendment's approved.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We have no further amendments, Mr. President. And renumber, of course, renumber the succeeding sections accordingly. So move, Mr. President. Yes.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I believe, Mr. President, with the permission of the sponsor, we can close the period of amendment without prejudice that the minority leader and assistant minority leader may propose further amendments later on.
Majority Floor Leader?
Yes.
With no other individual amendment, I move to close the period of individual amendments.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Bigyan niyo.
Okay na.
Mr. President, may we also ask for a clean copy given to the minority leader and Ma'am Risa Ontiveros and all the members.
Yes, the Secretary instructed to give a clean copy to members. Close.
Enjoy.
Close period of amendments. Suspend consideration.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 2895.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
With suspension.
Session suspended.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 2865. This is the bill on the Capital Markets Efficiency Promotion Act. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the resumption of consideration of Senate Bill number 2865 is now in order.
I move to resume the period of individual amendments using the approved amendment by substitution on December 11, 2024 as our working draft and recognize the sponsor, Senator Win Gatchalian, to propose his individual amendment. So move, Mr. President.
Hearing no objection, motion is approved. Senators Win Gatchalian and
Individual lang.
Senator Win Gatchalian is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I only have three individual amendments.
Dito pa ka, ano?
Yes, sir. Apo, sino?
On page 2, line 23, replace the words and or with a comma. And then on
Page 2, sir.
page 2, line 24, delete the phrase whether to buy or sell securities, comma. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, proposed amendment is approved.
On page 3, line 6, replace the words and or with a comma. On the same page, line 7, delete the phrase whether to buy or sell securities, comma. So move.
Is there any objection? There being none, the proposed amendment is approved.
On page 29, line 10, reinstate the deleted phrase colon, provided that pickup trucks shall not be considered as, page 29, line 10, reinstate the deleted phrase colon, provided that pickups shall not be considered as trucks. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the proposed amendment is approved.
That's it, Mr. President. Thank you.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 2900 under Committee Report number 430. This is the bill on the Special Defense Economic Zone Act. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, resumption of consideration of the said bill is now in order.
Having sponsored the measure, I move to open the period of interpellation and recognize the sponsor, Senator Juan Miguel Mig Zubiri, and to interpellate our minority leader, Senator Aquilino Cocob Mintel III.
Hearing no objection, the period of interpellation is in order. Senators Zubiri and Pimentel are hereby recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the permission of our sponsor, who is conceitedly very knowledgeable about the subject matter, Mr. President. So this this is just an interpellation to elicit some facts and to clarify some concepts, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, from the title itself, the measure is to establish basically an economic zone within the government arsenal defense industrial estate. So, may we know what will happen to if this becomes law, what will happen to the government arsenal defense industrial estate as to area? What percentage of the area will remain as the government arsenal defense industrial estate, Mr. President?
Yes, yes, Mr. President, I was informed. We have with us today the head of the government arsenal, General Amante is with us today.
General Amante, classmate of Senator Bato?
Upper
Or
class po siya, upper
yes,
class.
nakita sila sa PMA and you're the one who's was golden voice? Tama, oh yes, sir.
Magaling kumanta. Magaling kumanta.
Sipin nyo,
Good voice, ah.
pati yan, alam ko pa, Mr. President. Sa research natin
Alam mo
dito
pa yan sa akin.
sa research natin sa bill na ito, Mr. President.
Very good. Mr. President, yes, just to answer the question of our distinguished minority floor leader, the property in Limay, Bataan on the government arsenal is about 370 hectares, Your Honor.
Okay.
And they're planning to use up 300 hectares for the ecozone, the defense ecozone, and the other 70 will be retained by the government arsenal for the manufacturing and repair of military firearms, Your Honor, Mr. President.
So I haven't visited the government arsenal. So ibig sabihin is, marami pa palang parang vacant space dyan. Opo.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
And contiguous.
Yes, Your Honor.
Contiguous lang. Ah, okay,
Contiguous, contiguous. And secure po.
So, what is the effect of this bill, Mr. President? Kung gagawin na natin yon, so tanggal na talaga itong 300 hectares from the jurisdiction of the government and arsenal under General Amante?
Yes, sir. It's going to now be part of the special, SPEDEZA, or Special Defense Economic Zone. And the reason, if I may, Mr. President, Your Honor, that we need this is because of the SRDP law that we passed. And we thank you very much, together with Senator Risa and yourself, the minority leader, on supporting such a measure where we are actually being able to produce our own firearms, defense equipment for our self-reliance, defense self-reliance. And many of those who have, because of the law that we passed and that you also help us achieve, many investors have already come to the Philippines. As a matter of fact, there was recently an air show. What was the show na tayong dalawa, Senator JB, magkasama tayo? No, it was here in World Trade, the World Trade Center. It was ADAS. Many of these companies are willing to set up shop. However, they are not shunned away, but they're discouraged by other economic zones to build their manufacturing facilities there because of the nature of the equipment that's being done, which is some can be very dangerous because some are manufacturing of weapons, ammunition, and armaments which utilize gunpowder, of course, explosives, and the like. So, nahihirapan sila maghanap ng locator nahihirapan sila maghanap ng location. Locator po sila. Location. So, yan ang problema, Mr. President. And that is why this is an accompanying measure of our SRDP, Your Honor.
So, thank you, Mr. President. So, sa maikling salita, si SRDP, yung batas na yon ang nag-establish ng isang programa, yun ang naging legal basis. Ito namang panukalang ito na ngayon ang magbibigay ng lokasyon ng mga ma-attract natin sa programang SRDP.
Opo.
Tama po?
Opo,
Opo.
Mr. President.
Okay, pero dahil sa we are now we are now pinpointing the location. We are also creating a GOCC to manage
Yes, sir.
that particular one.
Yes,
But the GOCC we're creating manages that specific territory. Or can there be another defense economic zone, let us say somewhere in the Philippines, and it will be also under this authority?
Yes, sir.
So that's the plan.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Kasi maliit po yung 300 hectares, and they're also, under the law, they're allowed to expand in other areas.
So ito yung, that's the plan. Okay, ito na yung parang panimula. To start
Opo,
lang,
opo.
it's in Bataan. So it's really understandable naman na siyempre yung economic zone, kunyari, na making or manufacturing, ano ba, ay mga ano, tama ka, chips, microchips. no?
Microchip,
Tapos,
ano po.
katabi niya is manufacturing bullets, ayun niya yun. Or mortar,
Tsaka,
mortar shells or ammunition.
O, tsaka Mr. President, my distinguished colleague from Cagayan de Oro in Marikina, yung problema din kasi security. The facility has to be secured. Because if
Correct,
you're,
yes.
yeah, because pwede
Yes.
sila ma-raid or pwede may theft or may pilferage of equipment. And for example, if they're going to deal, it's not only that, also they can manufacture, for example, drone technology.
Correct.
They don't want also spies or people who can steal the technology from the area. So it has to be highly secure in nature, Your Honor. Iba talaga siya sa ibang eco zones, Your Honor.
Well, wala naman tayo pong ano rito, objection dito kasi I will just give credit where credit is due. Yung dating PEZA head under President Duterte, Charito Plaza,
Yes.
I think when she was PEZA head, diniscuss na namin ito.
Okay.
We need an eco zone exclusively for defense. And finally, ito na yung fruition. But of course, we needed that framework law, the SRDP. So,
She was a general, by the way, of the reservist.
correct.
She was the reservist general of the Army. Air Force.
Tapos, of course, given the nature of the businesses to be located there, their raw materials and their inventory, siyempre yung security level must be different from
Yes,
the vigilance, and the security level must be different from or of a higher level than the ordinary eco zones, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, because we're creating an authority, did we make sure that we will not complicate the authority's relationship with the FIRB ba yun? Diyan pa ba?
Create more. Under
Under-
provisions of the
under-
Create More.
Yes, under Create More, because, so is this eco zone at the same level or with the same powers as the other investment promotion agencies, Mr.
IPA.
President?
It's similar to an IPA, Your Honor. We have together with us Congressman Garcia. Abed Garcia is with us here. We'd like to also put that on record. He's helping the measure. Obviously, it's going to be in his beautiful province of Bataan, which will have a bridge very soon connecting Cavite and Bataan. Yes, Your Honor, it will be similar to an IPA like the Bataan, ano yung say? Report zone, yung AFAB. So it'll be similar to that, Your Honor.
Okay, yes, no special powers to be given to the authority, diba,
It will be the same, Your Honor, as what has been given to others.
Extended lang yung duration ng availment nila kasi since pioneering industry.
So pioneering, because it's a pioneering industry, extended lang
20 years yung
up to 20 years yung availment of incentives. But they are compliant because I made sure that when we passed this in the committee level, I told my staff to make sure that this is compliant with Create More. In other words,
Yes.
hindi lalamang sa Create More.
Yes, oo.
Opo.
Parang hindi na natin pinulabog o ginulo yung whatever we built under Create More kasi we made sure kasi na the IPAs are more or less equally treated. Ganun,
Yes.
ganun pong ginawa natin. So, we're creating another IPA,
Yes.
but it's not more powerful than the existing IPAs.
Hindi po, sir.
It's a parang generic IPA siya.
Yes,
sa
Mr.
level.
President. Oo.
So with that, Mr. President, at least alam na natin yung general concept. But when we go to the specifics, it would just be some parang perfecting suggestions or not really a new concept or a totally new concept. So if we can just reserve our right to ask further questions during the period for amendments, Mr. President, just in case we need some clarificatory questions. But as of the moment, I think, Mr. President, we can, this representation can terminate his interpellation because I see the I see the logic, I see the idea, I see the benefits of passing this bill. At least yung land area ng government arsenal magiging productive
Magagamit,
pa,
opo,
magagamit
magiging
pa natin.
productive. Oh.
So, ang mangyayari po nito, the law creating the government arsenal will be amended by this law, will be carving out malaki, a big part of its land area, and then and then placing it under another government entity, the authority. Ganun
Yes,
po
sir.
ang mangyayari.
Yes, sir.
So, how will this affect the government arsenal, Mr. President? As to with the loss of 300 hectares, will this affect what is the effect on the government arsenal?
Actually, Mr. President, to be honest, yung government arsenal for a long time has been, with due respect, nandito po si General, but neglected.
Correct.
If we both headed the government, siguro prioritize natin yung government arsenal. We only found the importance of the government arsenal during the Marawi siege when we ran out of bullets and ammunition, and it was the government arsenal and the private contractors here that were providing the firearms, bullets, and repairs, magazines to our military. So now, at least, nakafocus na tayo dun sa area, and it will give them a boost that they deserve. It will really put them on the limelight.
Is the government arsenal poised to earn because of this bill? Earn something?
It's in the Department of Defense, Your Honor. The defense modernization. I think the income here will be pension bills. And okay. So both the pension bill, the pension law, and the modernization program of the DND will be benefiting from this.
Is the government arsenal to be compensated for the 300 hectares?
In this bench, wala, no?
Compensation.
No, sir.
Because it will be part of the modernization. That is-
Yeah, no sir, because it's in totality, parang one fund concept yung tinutulak nila na yung income nga na makuha nito will go to the modernization as well as the pension fund.
The income of the authority?
I believe so, sir. I think the rentals, no?
1%, sorry.
1% will go to the modernization, which includes
Sorry, just section 7.
which includes the arsenal.
Ito yung
Okay.
distribution ng income.
Yung distribution of income will be 1% to the AFP Pension Fund, 1% to the province of Bataan. Kaya pala nandito si Congressman Abet. 1% will go to the whole city municipality, and 2% will be retained by SPEDESA, Your Honor,
Siyempre may
on the 5% gross income earned.
How about the functions of the government arsenal? Will they be affected in any way by this bill, Mr. President, on the establishment of the EcoZone? Wala pa.
Di naman po.
Bureau under the department.
Will still be a bureau daw under the department.
As to capacity, how about expansion plans? Baka maapektahan kasi we're getting 300 hectares of your 370.
Into co-production with locators and expand our capacity.
Because under the bill, and they're excited about this, it allows them to partner with the co-locators, with the locators. I believe, for example, there is, they went to see me, magazines, they make the magazines for the M16s, the M4 na magazine for our military. They want to put up a facility there in this area of the arsenal, and they will partner with the arsenal for the manufacture of this magazine. So parang ganun. And they cannot do it, Mr. President, without this framework. They told me nga, they're having a hard time, with due respect to Secretary Gibo. Hirap na hirap po sila kumuha ng permit na mag-locate doon because wala pong legal framework.
Sige po, so kung if parang the government arsenal will now entertain, say, quotation marks ko na lang, expansion plans through joint ventures
Yes.
in this special defense economic zone.
That's
So,
correct, sir.
in that sense, nag-expand nga sila. So
Opo.
maybe there is now going to be exposure to different technology or new technology or latest technology. So baka may transfer in the future, may transfer of technology pa.
Yes, for sure, Mr. President. That is the affirmative. We were discussing that also
So,
earlier.
we wish you all the best and I hope you really secure the area kasi talagang
po.
kailangan ma-secure po yan.
Secure dapat.
Because ano yung discuss naman natin dito under sponsorship of Senator Jingo Estrada, yung biological,
Warfare.
nuclear,
Opo,
ano yun?
opo.
Chemical, apat kasi yun eh. Weapons, mga ganun. So these are weapons also. We're talking about weapons or defense materials. So we hope that we will this will really be secured, Mr. President. So with that, Mr. President, same reservation.
Yes, sir.
This representation thanks the sponsor and as well as the resource persons, and we'll just make that reservation during the period of amendments. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Senator. Mr. President, we'd like to thank our distinguished colleague from Cagayan de Oro and Marikina for his support. He's always been very supportive of renewed push for self-reliance in the defense industry. We thank him for that, being very patriotic and nationalistic. This way, Mr. President, maybe we don't need to import all these firearms. We can now build it in the Philippines, similar to what Turkey has done, similar to what Brazil has done, and Israel and India. So thank you to our minority floor leader. Maraming salamat.
Yes, and I also commend Congressman Mig Subiri for shepherding so many important laws.
Senator, sir, Senator, demote niyo po ako.
Did I say congressman?
Sorry.
Jet lag, sorry.
Yes, sir. Thank
Senator,
you.
sorry.
Thank you very much,
I was
Mr.
thinking Kong Abet Garcia.
Yeah, Kong
behind
Abet
you.
po, you mean.
Sorry. Kasalanan ni Kong Abet eh. Doon pa siya umupo eh. Sorry, my apologies. But I'd like to commend Senator Mig Subiri for shepherding so many important bills for our defense industry, and especially in this geopolitical, with this geopolitical environment. It's so important that we pass these bills. So
Thank you, Mr.
congratulations, Senator Migs. And of course, supporting right behind him, literally, is Congressman Abet Garcia.
Very hardworking
Very hardworking,
congressman.
always there for bills related to
He's
Bataan.
the people of Bataan should be proud. They have a very good congressman
Yes,
and
yes.
governor as well.
Thank you.
Likewise,
Majority
before I make a motion, likewise, I'd like to commend my seatmate, my colleague, Senator Zubiri, for always supporting the defense industry. We're always together, no? Especially the time that he was Senate President. We went to the defense shows because we really want our AFP modernization to really take place, no? Pinagbintangan pa nga kaming ahente. Minsan.
Yung pinagbintangan pa kaming ahente.
Ginawa pa kaming ahente, no? Pero
Matulong lang po kami sa
Yes.
AFP.
yeah, it's our desire really to because of the precarious situation that we have right now in the West Philippine Sea, we really have to strengthen our defense postures. And
Yes.
I
Thank you,
commend
sir.
my brother, my seatmate, Senator Zubiri, and likewise former Governor and Congressman Abet Garcia. Bataan is really one rising province. We just passed the Metro Bataan Development Authority now. With this, I think Bataan will really be going, will really develop tremendously, especially for our defense industry. There being no other reservation for interpellation, I move to close the period of interpellation.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 2900.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we proceed to the reference of business.
Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Additional reference of business, bills on first reading. Senate number 2914, providing for comprehensive and responsive civil registration and vital statistics system, repealing for the purpose Republic Act number 3753, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
Refer to the Committees on Justice and Human Rights and Finance.
2915, providing for the inclusion of the province of Sulu in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, as provided for in RA 11054, setting the plebiscite for this purpose and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Zubiri.
Refer to the Committees on Local Government, Electoral Reforms, and People's Participation and Finance.
2916, providing for the issuance of a list of low-lying areas of the Philippine territory vulnerable to rising sea levels as a result of climate change and areas at high risk for natural disasters, mandating the Department of Natural Resources, DOST, Philippine Space Agency, Climate Change Commission, and other concerned government agencies for its regular updating and approving funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Estrada.
Refer to the Committee on Environment, Natural Resources, and Climate Change, Science and Technology, and Finance.
2917, strengthening the system of filing of delayed registration of births in the country, amending for the purpose Act number 3753, Senator Go.
Referred to the Committee on Justice and Human Rights.
2918, institutionalizing the National Convergence Strategy for Sustainable Rural Development based on bridge-to-reef approach, providing the implementing mechanisms appropriate funds therefore. Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committees on Social Justice, Welfare and Rural Development and Finance.
Resolutions, proposed Senate Resolution 1269, calling for the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an investigation into the implementation of the last tranche of the SSS increase in the contribution rates and adjustment of the relevant daily and monthly salary credits for the purpose of evaluating its possible effect on the economic well-being of working-age Filipinos. Senator Ontiveros.
Referred to the Committee on Government Corporations and Public Enterprises.
1270, commending Police Senior Master Sergeant Ryan Mariano and Correction Officer Juan Melvin Cabanal, Magnaye of the Bureau of Corrections for the bravery and dedication to protect the public. Senator De La Rosa.
Referred to the Committee on Rules.
1271, directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry on the continued operation of illegal POGO hubs in the Philippines despite the total ban imposed by the administration of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Senator Tulfo.
Galing pare, congrats.
Ways and Means.
I refer to the Committee on Ways and Means and Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
1272, directing the Senate Committee on Justice and Human Rights to conduct an investigation on the gathering and handling of evidence by law enforcement with the end in view of strengthening laws on prosecution of criminal cases. Senator Tulfo.
Refer to the Committee on Justice and Human Rights.
1273, congratulating and commending the LPU Batangas Senior High School delegates for their outstanding performance in the World Scholars Cup Tournament of Champions held from November 14 to 20, 2024 at TL University. Senator Lapid.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
1274, congratulating and commending the Philippine Para Dance Sport Team for winning multiple medals at the Dearborn 2024 Para Dance Sport USA Open. Senator Lapid.
Refer to the Committee on
Rules.
Rules.
1275, congratulating and commending Denise Zamboanga for her historic victory as the first Filipina to win the one interim women's atomweight MMA world title. Senator Lapid.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
1276, congratulating and commending the One Cainta CBD Dance Sport Team for winning multiple medals at the 2024 Taiwan International Dance Sport Cup held on August 11, 2024 in Yulin County, Taiwan. Senator Lapid.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
Additional reference of business, bill on first reading, Senate number 2919, increasing the compulsory age of retirement for officers and non-officers of PNP from 56 years to 57 years old, amending for the purpose Section 39 of RA 6975 as amended. Senator De La Rosa.
Refer to the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs and Local Government.
Resolution, Senate Concurrent Resolution 26, concurrent resolution expressing the sense of the Senate urging the National Telecommunications Commission to issue a provisional authority to Starlink Internet Services, Philippines, allowing it to build, own, and operate satellite ground stations, pending final determination of its application for a congressional franchise. Senator Poe.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
1278, directing the Senate Committee on Migrant Workers to conduct an inquiry into the unfortunate incidents involving 3 Kuwait-based OFWs, particularly the reported deaths of 2 Filipinas and the alleged involvement of another in the death of an infant, with the end in view of adopting monitoring measures and crafting bilateral agreements that will guarantee the security, safety, and physical as well as mental well-being of Filipino migrant workers. Senator Tulfo.
Refer to the Committee on Migrant Workers.
1279, calling the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry on the reported inefficiency of the social security system in collecting contributions from delinquent employers, with the end in view of enhancing the efficiency of its collection mechanisms and significant premium increases and ensuring the sustainability of its funds for the benefit of all members. Senator Poe.
Refer to the Committee on Government Corporations and Public Enterprises.
Committee reports, Committee Report 438, jointly by the Committees on Justice and Human Rights, Social Justice, Welfare and Rural Development, and Finance. On Senate number 2920, with Senators Escudero, Villanueva, Padilla, and Pimentel III as authors, an act amending RA 7309, entitled An Act Creating a Board of Claims under the Department of Justice for victims of unjust imprisonment or detention and victims of violent crimes and for other purposes, recommending its approval in substitution of Senate numbers 884, 1607, and 2547, sponsor Senator Pimentel III.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
439, submitted by the Committee on Basic Education in House number 10726, changing the name of Eastern Bontoc National Agricultural and Vocational High School in Barangay Lingoy, Municipality of Barlig, Mountain Province of Barlig National Agricultural and Vocational High School, recommending its approval without amendment, sponsor Senator Gatchalian.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
440, jointly by the Committees on Basic Education and Finance on House number 10729, separating the Pasay City North High School Tramo Campus in Barangay 57, Tramo, Pasay City, from the Pasay City North High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as the Pasay City National High School, appropriating funds therefore. Recommending its approval without amendment, sponsor Senator Gatchalian.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
441 jointly by the Committees on Basic Education and Finance on House Number 10947, separating the Vitali National High School, Sinoropan Annex in Locomo, Zamboanga City from the Vitali National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Sinoropan National High School, approving funds therefore. Recommending this approval without amendment, taking into consideration Senate Number 482, sponsor Senator Gatchalian.
The calendar for ordinary business.
442 jointly by the Committees on Basic Education and Finance on House Number 10911, establishing a national high school in Palusapis, Muñoz, Nueva Ecija to be known as the Inday Melencio National High School. Appropriating funds therefore, recommending this approval without amendment, sponsor Senator Gatchalian.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
443 jointly by the Committees on Basic Education and Finance on House Number 10945, establishing a national high school in Barangay Tumitus, Zamboanga City to be known as the Tumitus National High School. Appropriating funds therefore, recommending this approval without amendment, sponsor Senator Gatchalian.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
444 jointly by the Committees on Basic Education and Finance on House Number 10946, establishing a national high school in Barangay Calabasa, Zamboanga City to be known as the Calabasa National High School. Approving funds therefore, recommending its approval without amendment, sponsor Senator Gatchalian.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
445 jointly by the Committees on Basic Education and Finance on House Number 10948, establishing a national high school in Barangay Kasanyangan, Zamboanga City to be known as the Kasanyangan National High School. Appropriating funds therefore, recommending its approval without amendment, sponsor Senator Gatchalian.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
446 submitted jointly by the Committees on Basic Education and Finance on House Number 10949, establishing a national high school in Barangay Curuan, Zamboanga City to be known as the Sapa Manok Curuan National High School. Appropriating funds therefore, recommending this approval without amendment, sponsor Senator Gatchalian.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
447 jointly by the Committees on Basic Education and Finance on House Number 10950, establishing a national high school in Barangay Latuan, Zamboanga City to be known as the Latuan National High School. Appropriating funds therefore, recommending its approval without amendment, sponsor Senator Gatchalian.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
448 jointly by the Committees on Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change, Social Justice, Welfare and Rural Development and Finance on House Number 428, an act declaring certain portions of the Welfareville property located in the city of Mandaluyong open for disposition to bona fide residents without public bidding and for other purposes. Recommending its approval through amendment by substitution, taking into consideration House Number 10015, sponsor Senator Villar C.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Mr. President, I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders committee report number on House Bill number 10726 is the bill pertaining to the Barlig National Agricultural and Vocational High School. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
I move that we consider the aforementioned House bill. So move, Mr. President.
Hearing no objection, the motion is approved. The Secretary is directed to read only the title of the bill without prejudice to inserting into the record the whole text thereof.
Barlig National Agricultural and Vocational High School.
I move to recognize Senator Will Gatchalian, Chairperson of the Committee on Basic Education, to deliver the sponsorship speech.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Senator Win Gatchalian is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, good evening. Today, I'm honored to sponsor a local bill transmitted by our colleagues from the House of Representatives, House Bill number 10726, that seeks to rename Eastern Bondok National Agricultural and Vocational High School in Barangay Lingoy, Municipality of Barlig, Mountain Province. Mr. President, let me put on record the rationale for the renaming of the school. Section 99D of Republic Act number 7160 allows the local Sanggunian to change school names through an ordinance with the local school board making recommendations. Public schools can also be named or renamed by the President through proclamation or by Congress through legislation. Approval from the Department of Secretary is no longer necessary for the naming or renaming of schools as per Department Order number 29, Series of 2011. All public high schools with DepEd school IDs are considered national high schools. The renaming of a public school into a national high school shall be done consistent with the provisions of DepEd Order number 29, Series of 2011. Mr. President, schools are more than educational institutions. They are pillars of our communities and reflections of our collective identity. By renaming Eastern Bondok National Agricultural and Vocational High School, we honor its role in fostering shared learning experiences and driving local development. This proposed measure underscores our commitment to supporting educational institutions in their mission to uplift and empower communities. Upon enactment of this measure, the renamed school will be known as Barlig National Agricultural and Vocational High School. I also hereby inform this honorable body that the Department of Education has certified that this proposed measure complies with DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2014 for the establishment, merging, conversion, and renaming of public schools and separation of public school annexes in basic education. Ang panukalang ito ay isang pahayag ng ating dedikasyon sa pagsuporta sa ating mga komunidad. Sa pagpalit ng pangalan ng paaralang ito, tayo ay nagdadala ng bagong kahulugan at nagbibigay inspirasyon sa mga mag-aaral na magpunyagi para sa tagumpay. For this reason, I humbly seek this August Chamber support for the immediate passage of this measure. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend consideration of Committee Report Number 14 on House Bill Number 10726.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders Committee Report Number 440 on House Bill Number 10729 and Committee Report Number 441 on House Bill Number 10947. These are the bills on the separation of school extension from its mother school to become an independent school.
Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
I move that we consider the aforementioned House bills. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. The Secretary is directed to read only the title of the bills without prejudice to inserting into the record the whole text thereof.
House number 10729, Pasay City National High School. House number 10947, Sinoropa National High School in Lucomo, Zamboanga City.
I move to recognize Senator Gatchalian, Chairperson of the Committee on Basic Education, to deliver an omnibus sponsorship speech.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Senator Win Gatchalian is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, a pleasant evening to you all. Today, I'm honored to sponsor two local bills that aim to separate extension or annex schools to become independent schools. These are House Bill number 10729 and 10947. Take into consideration Senate Bill number 482. The extension or annex schools that we seek to separate from their mother schools under these proposed measures are the following: the Pasay City North High School, Tramo Campus in Barangay 57, Tramo, Pasay City, and Vitali National High School, Sinoropan Annex in Barangay Licomo, Zamboanga City. Ginong Pangulo, isipin natin ang mga kabataang nagsusumikap para makapag-aral. Marami sa kanila ang kailangan maglakad ng ilang kilometro araw-araw, saksi sa hirap ng paglalakbay sa ilalim ng init ng araw o ulan upang makapasok sa paaralan. Given this context, separating this extension or annex schools from their mother schools would greatly help to ensure that growing needs of these schools will be met and that the highest standards of education would be provided to our students. By enacting these measures, these extension or annex schools will be able to manage their own maintenance and operating expenses and establish their own personal services, itemization, as well as plantilla of personnel. Therefore, the management of the main school will be decentralized, congestion will be avoided, and self-sustainability in surrounding communities can be achieved. Once separated from their mother schools, the annex or extension schools will be known respectively as the Pasay City National High School and the Sinoropan National High School. Mr. President, the Department of Education has certified that these proposed measures comply with DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2014 on the establishment, merging, conversion, naming and renaming of public schools and separation of public school annexes in basic education. In the interest of making education more accessible and responsive to our Filipino youth nationwide, I humbly seek the support of this esteemed body for the immediate passage of these measures. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend consideration of the aforementioned House bills.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders Committee Report Number 442 on House Bill Number 10911 Committee Report number 443 on House Bill number 10945. Committee Report number 444 on House Bill number 10946. Committee Report number 445 on House Bill number 10948. Committee Report number 446 on House Bill number 10949. And Committee Report number 447 on House Bill number 10950. These are the bills on the establishment of schools.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
I move that we consider the aforementioned House bills. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. The Secretary is directed to read only the title of the bills without prejudice to inserting into the record the whole text thereof.
House number 10911, Inday Melanio National High School, Muñoz, Nueva Ecija. 10945, Tumitos National High School, Tumitos, Zamboanga City. 10946, Calabasa National High School, Calabasa, Zamboanga City. 10948, Kasanyangan National High School in Kasanyangan, Zamboanga City. 10949, Sapa Manok Curuan National High School in Curuan, Zamboanga City. 10950, Latuan National High School, Latuan, Zamboanga City.
Mr. President, I move to recognize Senator Gatchalian, Chairperson of the Committee on Basic Education, to deliver an omnibus sponsorship speech.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, I'm honored today to sponsor 6 local bills transmitted by our colleagues from the House of Representatives, which aim to establish schools in areas with identified needs. These are House Bill number 10911, 10945, 10946, 10948, 10949, and 10950. These schools we propose to establish through these measures are located in the following areas: Science City of Muñoz, Nueva Ecija, Barangay Timutos, Zamboanga City, Barangay Calabasa, Zamboanga City, Barangay Kasanyangan, Zamboanga City, Barangay Curuan, Zamboanga City, and Barangay Latuan, Zamboanga City. Mr. President, students in these areas have long faced significant hurdles just to pursue their education, from traveling long distance to shouldering additional expenses to and even putting their safety at risk. With the establishment of the schools, we are bringing learning closer to home, easing the burden of learners and their families, and ensuring that education remains accessible to all. Once these measures are passed into law, the established schools will be known respectively as Inday Melanio National High School, Timutos National High School, Calabasa National High School, Kasanyangan National High School, Sapa Manok Curuan National High School, and Latuan National High School. I would also like to inform this honorable body that the Department of Education has certified these proposed measures comply with DepEd Order number 40, series of 2014, on the establishment, merging, conversion, and naming and renaming of public schools and separation of public school annexes in basic education. Ginong Pangulo, ang pagsasabatas ng mga panukalang ito ay hindi lamang pagtatayo ng mga paaralan, kundi isang konkretong hakbang tungo sa mas maayos at abot-kamay na edukasyon para sa ating mga kababayan. Sa pamamagitan ng mga panukalang ito, tinutugunan natin ang pangangailangan ng ating mga kabataan na makamit ang kanilang mga pangarap nang hindi na kinakailangan maglakbay ng malayo o ilayo ang kanilang sarili sa kanilang mga pamilya. For this reason, I humbly seek the support of this esteemed body for the immediate passage of these measures. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend consideration of the aforementioned House bills.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders committee report number 237. On Senate Bill number 2613, this is the bill on the equitable access to Sharia court. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
I move that we consider Senate Bill number 2613 under committee report number 237.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Consideration of Senate Bill number 2613 is now in order. The Secretary is directed to read the title of the bill without prejudice to inserting into the record the whole text thereof.
An act providing for equitable access to Sharia courts, amending for the purpose of Public Act number 9997, otherwise known as the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos Act of 2009.
To sponsor the measure, I move to recognize Senator Robin Hood Padilla, Chairperson of the Committee on Cultural Communities and Muslim Affairs, to deliver his sponsorship speech.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. Senator Padilla is recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Tagapangulo at sa atin pong pinunong mayorya sa mga kagalang-galang na miyembro ng lupon na ito. Isa pong karangalan po para sa inyong lingkod ang tumindig sa pulpito ngayong hapon, ngayong gabi, upang ihain sa plenaryo ang ulat komite ng Kultural na Pamayanan at Usaping Muslim, ang Committee Report number 237 na naglalaman ng Senate Bill 2613 patungkol sa mga panukalang susog sa Republic Act number 9997 na kilala din po bilang National Commission on Muslim Filipinos Act of 2009. Simple lamang po ang nilalaman ng panukalang batas. Subalit, ito po ay may malalim na kahulugan para po sa aming mga Muslim. Simula po nang maipasa ang batas na bumuo ng komisyon upang tiyakin ang pangangalaga sa paniniwala, kaugalian, tradisyon at kultura ng mga kapatid po natin, naging masigasig na po ang buong NCMF upang tugunan ang mga pangangailangan ng ating mga kapatid. Sa loob po ng halos 15 taon, isa po sa mga nangingibabaw na hamon ay sa obserbasyon ng komisyon ay epektibong pagsusumite ng mga dokumento sa korte ng mga Muslim. Dahil po dito, bahagi ng panukalang susog sa RA number 997 ay pagbuo ng digital platform upang mapayagan po ang paperless filing ng mga pangkaraniwang mga dokumento sa Sharia courts, tulad po ng marriage certificate, birth certificate, death certificate, pleadings, and other court submissions. Sa habangin ito ay magiging kaakibat po natin ang isa sa mga ahensya ng pamahalaan, ang Department of Information and Communications Technology o DICT. Batid po natin ang inisyatibo ng kataas-taasang hukom na Strategic Plan for Judicial Innovation 2022 hanggang 2027. Naniniwala po akong isang mabisang hakbangin ang panukalang ito upang maisabay sa modernisasyon ng mga proseso at operasyon ng korte. Pangalawa po, sa hinaharap nating hamon ay ang kakapusan ng resources at limitadong access sa pag-file at pagsusumite ng ating mga kapatid sa mga Sharia courts. Dahil dito, simple lamang po ang ating kahilingan. Ang bigyan ng legal na kapangyarihan ang Bureau of Legal Affairs upang makapaghatid ng administratibong tulong sa ating mga kababayan. Patungkol po sa agam-agam na makakahadlang ito sa mga umiiral na proseso, sinisiguro po natin na hindi magdudulot ng kalituhan o kaguluhan ang batas na ito sa regulasyon ng korte. Dahil sa huli naman po, ang kataas-taasang hukuman pa rin po ang may kapangyarihan maglagda ng mga alituntunin tungkol sa pamamaraan sa lahat ng mga hukuman. Sang-ayon sa sinasaad ng Section 5, Artikulo 8 ng ating saligang batas. Ginoong Tagapangulo, sa tuwi-tuwinay mayroong pagdinig ang Komite ng Kultural na Pamayanan at Usaping Muslim, makailang ulit na rin pong nabanggit ang kawalan ng istatistikal na datos ng mga Muslim sa buong Pilipinas. Dahil po dito, iminumungkahi po ng inyong abang lingkod sa panukalang ito ang koordinasyon sa pagitan po ng Philippine Statistics Authority at NCMF para po sa ulat at datos tungkol sa pamayanan ng Muslim mula sa level ng nasyonal, rehiyon, probinsya, syudad at mga bayan. Kaalinsabay po nito ay ang paglalagay natin sa batas ng probisyon sa pangangailangan sa regular na pag-uulat ng kalihim ng komisyon sa Pangulo ng Senado, House Speaker, at mga tagapangulo ng mga komite ukol sa usaping Muslim ng parehong kapulungan ng Kongreso. Ginoong Tagapangulo, ang bersyon ng panukalang batas na ito ay pumasa na po sa ikatlong pagbasa sa malaking kapulungan. Ang atin pong kahilingan, nawa, ay mabigyan pansin ito ng kagalang-galang na bulwagang ito upang mabigyang solusyon po natin ang mga hinaharap na hamon ng ating mga minamahal na kapatid na Muslim. Maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon.
Mr. President, Senator Win Gatchalian would like to deliver his co-sponsorship speech. I move that he be recognized.
Senator Win Gatchalian is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, I rise today to co-sponsor this bill that seeks to uphold equity, inclusion, and progress for our Muslim brothers and sisters through amendments to the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos Act of 2009. This bill aims to address a critical need, ensuring equitable access to Sharia courts for our Muslim brothers and sisters, regardless of where they reside. Alam natin na para sa ating mga kapatid na Muslim, ang Sharia ay hindi lamang batas. Ito ay bahagi ng kanilang pananampalataya at pagkatao. Kapag ang hustisya ay naantala dahil sa kawalan ng akses sa mga hukuman, hindi lang legal na proseso ang napipigilan, kundi ang karapatang pantao at dignidad ng bawat individual. Through this legislation, we aim to harness the power of technology to create a more inclusive and efficient system. This bill empowers the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos in collaboration with the Department of Information and Communications Technology and the Supreme Court to create a digital platform enabling the paperless filing of legal documents. With this innovation, justice becomes not only accessible, but immediate. Before I end, allow me to express my gratitude to the sponsor of this bill, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, and to my fellow co-authors for their commitment to championing the cause behind this proposed measure. Ginong Pangulo, ang batas na ito ay isang mensahe na ang bawat Pilipino ay mahalaga, anuman ang relihiyon, lahi o lokasyon. It is a declaration of our nation's diversity, is the strength, and that every citizen deserves to partake in the fruits of progress and fairness. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, Senators Villanueva, De La Rosa, Legarda, Revilla, and this representation would like our co-sponsorship speeches be inserted to the records for committee report number 237.
Yes, any objections? There being none, motion is approved.
I move that we suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 2613.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we proceed to the Senate President's designation of Senate Conference to the Conference Committee on the disagreed provisions of the following bills. Senate Bill number 2252 and House Bill number 7479, Pawai Lake Protected Landscape Act. Senate Bill number 2614 and House Bill number 8441, Aurora Memorial Protected Landscape Act. Senate Bill number 2615 and House Bill number 8394, Mount Sawtooth Protected Landscape Act. Senate Bill number 1691 and House Bill number 7506, San Francisco Protected Landscape Act. Senate Bill number 1725 and House Bill number 7529, Ali B. Jaban Protected Landscape and Seascape Act. Senate Bill number 2616 and House Bill number 8202, Mount Masaraga Protected Landscape Act. Senate Bill number 355 and House Bill number 7322, Taklong and Tandog Group of Islands Natural Park. Senate Bill number 2617 and House Bill number 9396, Panaon in Island Protected Seascape Act. Senate Bill number 2618 and House Bill number 8395, Mount Gutob Protected Landscape Act. And Senate Bill number 2619 and House Bill number 8504, Naga Dimaporo Protected Landscape and Seascape Act. So move, Mr. President.
Hearing no objection, the motion is approved. The following members are hereby designated as Senate conferees to the Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of the aforementioned bills. They are Senator Cynthia A. Villar as chairperson, Senator Amy R. Marcos, Senator Mark A. Villar, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, and Senator Aquilino Coco Pimentel on the part of the minority. So designated.
Mr. President, minority.
The part of the minority, we are designating Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Oh, yes. So the Senate, on the part of the minority, Senator Risa Ontiveros is hereby designated as as one of the Senate conferees to the conference committee. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. President, I move that we adjourn the session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, January 20, 2025.
Is there any objection? There being none, the session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, January 20, 2025.